Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever installment of News for the Unemployed. My name is SnugBroTV, and I have curated the biggest headlines that might mean a lot to us, but not so much to anyone aged 45 or older. From PewDiePie transcending YouTube and making a foothold within AI, to one of the most ridiculous thefts in YouTube history unfolding right in front of us, this video is going to be a treat for every single one of you who are looking for the news that the mainstream media is conveniently leaving out. SnugBroTV. Snugbro, why is my house on fire? Whether it be playing Happy Wheels or Minecraft or whatever happened on this bridge, PewDiePie has been a generational force for creativity and pushing the boundaries as for what gamers can possibly achieve. Now, as he's transitioned into a new chapter of his life, PewDiePie has his eyes set on spearheading an AI project. This project's name is Odysseus, a free, open source, self-hosted AI workspace that's recently been launched. Why this project is cool is due to it not only being free and open source, but how privacy focused it is in comparison to cloud services such as ChatGPT and Claude, with it not only being designed to run language models locally on user hardware, but furthermore allowing users to connect local models or external APIs while keeping all data, chat history, and personal files offline. You know, it's just funny. Companies like OpenAI or Microsoft with Copilot claim that they don't sell user data to third parties for advertisement purposes. However, OpenAI uses content from free tier users to train and improve its models by default. So who knows if we're getting any sort of inch of the truth as it comes to our data with these AI companies. And that's just the world we live in, folks. This isn't me transitioning into lecturing about a topic in which we all freaking know. More so through projects like this by PewDiePie, a reminder as for the fact that there are ways to combat this new status quo, whether it be data harvesting from an AI service or literally any social media company. That being said, use the internet for things that your grandmother would be proud of. You never know the true power that lies at the fingertips of any one of these companies. Speaking of true power, Google's parent company, Alphabet, is seeking EPA approval to release 32 million lab-bred Wolbachia-infected male mosquitoes in California and Florida over the next 2 years. This is part of what's known as the Debug Project, a project aiming to suppress the populations of disease-carrying Culex mosquitoes, vectors for example of the West Nile virus, by rendering wild female eggs non-viable when they mate with the sterile released male. Note that these male mosquitoes that are released, they don't bite humans for some reason, and the plan relies on AI-powered sex sorting as well as automated rearing to ensure that no biting females can escape. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the gloves are off with these people. We're now beginning to understand truly the level of impact that these companies have had outside of their intended purpose. This ain't Google Maps anymore, ladies and gentlemen. It's now time to influence Mother Nature and release millions of more mosquitoes. Now, it's a future-pilled solution that could work against deadly mosquitoes, but it's almost like an IQ test. Are we seriously gonna let a powerful search engine company just experiment on millions of mosquitoes to be released to the public? Like, gee, what have we been learning from Bill Gates and the millions of genetically modified mosquitoes he's been releasing? The same Bill Gates that's been funding the experimentation of ticks released into the world. And if you know a thing or two about ticks recently, you'll understand the rising cases of tick-transmitted alpha-gal syndrome, which makes people allergic to red meat. And if you know a thing or two about Bill Gates, you'll understand the fact that he continues to argue as for why we should transition to synthetically grown lab meat instead of the good old-fashioned steak and root beer dinner. The only steak that Bill Gates wants you to eat is the sad sack of crap that they sell at Denny's. I would actually rather have my wallet robbed than eat at Denny's. Speaking of robbery, what Bricks and Minifigs have done to this family is nothing short of a tragedy. And this whole story is a reminder of the sometimes unforgiving fact that karma is a bitch. For context, Brian Mansell and his family at one point owned one of the largest Lego Star Wars collections within the Pacific Northwest. I'm talking a crazy collection, including the most valuable Star Wars set, Cloud City, sealed and ready for goon play. Given the family needed the money, Brian in late 2023 decided to co-sign the collection with the company Bricks and Minifigs, a company that specializes in reselling Lego sets and whatnot. Now this is where things get a little tricky. In late 2024, 2024, Bricks and Minifig Corporate repossessed the store in which Brian had sold the collection to due to unpaid franchise debts and installed new managers who refused to return the co-signed inventory. In other words, they straight up stole the collection. Brian holds on to the belief that this new management had basically sold his collection without permission. And initially, Bricks and Minifigs Corporate denied liability, stating the contract was an unauthorized agreement between Mansell and the former franchisee. This is where the YouTuber Reckless Ben comes in. Brian basically had no one to tell the story to, given the fact that he was up against a whole corporation, and as Reckless Ben will discover, freaking police force. I recommend to watch Reckless Ben's videos on this subject because these are probably the greatest videos that I've ever seen on YouTube. The level of trolling that Mr. Ben does, it's commendable. But basically, the Bricks and Minifigs Corporate, as well as the local store owners, try their damnedest to get Ben arrested, and he does get arrested based on allegations of harassment against Bricks and Minifigs employees. But when you watch the videos and you realize the validity behind Ben, summoning these people for court, you begin to ask questions as for why the police were spending all of their time on Ben as opposed to the actual criminals being showcased within these videos. Now, of course, due to ongoing viral pressure from not just the LEGO community, but just the entire internet community as a whole, Bricks and Minifigs eventually issued a public statement acknowledging oversight failures and offering mediation to resolve the dispute. Problem is, these people are untrustworthy as heck. These are not good people, and as we've just come to discover, karma is a bitch. They could have just returned the LEGO collection, but instead of doing so and upholding their integrity, their faces are now all over the internet and nobody likes them anymore. Bricks and Minifigs' reputation is down the drain. And what did you gain out of this anyways? Because now the GoFundMe that Ben has launched has almost basically racked up the amount of dollars that the Mansells have lost, and now you're taking what could have just been a civil court case and made it into something much larger, because all of the greatest lawyers are definitely watching these videos, licking their lips and imagining the amount of money that they're gonna make off of you. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, the ultimate LEGO set to build is integrity. While Bricks and Minifigs might just buy it off someone else's hands pre-built, it's really a set that you gotta build one brick at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is SnugBroTV. If you enjoyed news for the unemployed, please give me a like and a subscribe.